I'm going to be a little bit proud of this episode because this one's a little bit homegrown here at the shop. We were working on this for most of last year and some of this year.
Right, yeah, you were coming home real proud of what was going on with this one. So
yeah,
I'm excited. I haven't really had a chance to see it previously to this, so I'm kind of excited to get a look at it.
So I do all the shop emails here. I'm the shop manager, obviously. I've gone over that, but we had a project come in where a guy had been trying to find someone to do white on black work on his. He had like a blackout, like kind of a botched blackout with some floral on the back of it. Mm-hmm. And he'd been kind of getting turned down, and he's seen the work that we were doing here at the shop on me, and I brought him in to work with Terry, who I had been kind of grooming into doing the white on black.
Your blackout machine.
Well, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, he did your floral sleeve, which I think is it turned out really wicked.
We started with small things, and I was kind of like explaining to him step by step how we do it, like I've done on the vlogs, and he just kind of listened to me every step of the way. Like, yeah, man, I mean, you've done this before. So he did exactly what I said, and it was working out really well on me. So I was like, I got a guy that can do that, and away we went with this project. But I told the guy right away that if we're going to do it, it's not going to be line style. We're going to go like full on with it.
Yeah,
maybe something cooler than that.
You probably could do white line style, but it wouldn't look as good. I mean, everybody is so obsessed with line style floral, and
my God.
I'm even guilty of having some line style floral on my body. I think it looks nice.
We're all allowed to shit the bed now and then.
Yeah, I do think it looks nice, but I just I'm amazed at how much people get. Like, there's like full body line style floral, and like, I don't know, I just have like a collar.
Wow. It doesn't work as a cover up.
No, you 100%, you guys, you gotta, these dainty little lines aren't gonna cover anything.
You wouldn't believe how many people ask for line style floral as a cover up.
Yeah, no,
we had one come in yesterday.
Black and shading covers, line style floral doesn't.
We had one come in yesterday that was literally, it was like a botched tattoo, and in order to cover up part of it, they used line style floral over top of it, and now they're open to anything.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how it goes.
So even if you're doing like a blast over, like, I don't know if you've seen the trend. It was a little more predominant last year, Remy. They were doing like these blast overs over top of like trad sleeves.
Yeah.
Do you remember seeing that? So like, even if you wanted to do a blast over, line style floral is probably the worst to do over top of that. It's going to get lost.
You basically need to do a new tattoo over it.
Yeah. And the tattoo needs to be bold, and the outlines need to be thick, and that just doesn't work with line style floral. But anyways, Can we talk about this? What did we decide it was? Buildings? I kind of am wondering if it's a graveyard.
This was supposed to be like a spooky castle version of those floral tree wraps.
Okay.
So that didn't really work out the way he wanted. It looks like it was a cover-up to begin with, but it wasn't. He was embarrassed to show me this because he thought it was going to be like the worst thing I've ever seen. I'm like, look, man, I do a YouTube show where I see shit worse than this every fucking day.
Yeah, definitely not the worst thing. Although the floral looks like clouds to me.
Well, part of it is probably clouds.
Probably floral flopping into clouds back there.
Yeah, there's a floral on the back, and then I feel like the clouding was around the castle, and these are separate tattoos.
And the castle is a blackout, right? Like, they got rid of an old tattoo behind that, or was the castle purposely?
No, like I'm saying, I think that was done that way to try and look like those trees. I don't think there's a cover up in the black. I think that was the way it was.
Just so you guys understand, those trees work because trees have many branches.
Yeah.
And it creates like a really interesting like light and dark in between all of the different.
On who you ask.
But the original concept, right? It breaks up the space a little different. Doing like a castle like this, it doesn't quite work. I mean, I think someone could make it work, but this person did not make it work.
No. So this is what we gave him instead. So Terry had to redo the blackout that this guy had because it was pretty botched. Mm-hmm. And he had to build off with the flowers that this guy had already to kind of give it some semblance of structure. And yeah, he had to, redo the flowers that were there so they'd be in his style. And they decided to do a snake and floral sleeve with this and use white on black elements in it. We used black on black and white on black to do this. All the white was done twice. This guy was probably in, I would say, between 15 and 20 times over the last year. And the funny story about it is the last few sessions, he actually didn't have the cash to pay for, and he'd lost his job. But we wanted this project finished so bad, Terry actually went and picked him up from his house and brought him down to the shop to do the second passes on these. These were fresh. We took these outside so that no one could accuse this of being like fucked with or filtered or any polarized lens in the mix.
Right. So I really like how Terry made this sleeve work. Like, I love the the white tattoos at the bottom and the dark tattoos at the top. He could have very easily just decided to black out this whole guy's arm and continue that
I think
white.
it would have been better, but
Yes and no.
Work.
The only thing that bums me out about the transition, and this is just my personal, qualm with it, is I like a smoother transition. So right around the elbow there, I would like if the black carried up a little farther and then faded a little softer into the top of the arm. I understand how it wouldn't have worked. It probably would have schmooched up all that flower there, but that's my one qualm with it.
I actually don't think it would have. I think, though, Terry was probably not quite certain. It's not like you get to do this every day.
Yeah, how do you do that transition, really?
Well, I can see how it could be done.
Oh, yeah.
I think that when it's on someone that you don't have access to this every day. Sometimes it's like, I'll play it safe because I don't want to screw it up. But I think he probably, if he was to lay this out today, he might have done it a little bit different because he's done more of it. But no one does this work. You know what I mean? You have to be really careful. There's
definitely very few artists that are doing this work. And it's actually really shocking because I think that the evidence is so clear at this point. I mean, look at you. Yep. You were walking around.
But I'm using filters and editing everything. And we're using crazy cameras.
Just so all of you dum-dums out there know, Remy looks the same wandering around the streets as he does in his pictures. For one thing, I used to do the photo editing for Remy. Sorry. And I don't do it anymore, and Remy's no pro at editing photos.
We went out with a camera.
Yeah.
Or a phone camera.
Exactly.
We're not doing anything crazy.
There's nothing crazy going on. Remy's not walking around with a crazy photographer that's making his photos look perfect. So you guys are nuts.
No. So anyway, I actually think that the white on black and black on black elements here are they are more striking than the black and gray. And we have the healed photos. I got this guy to take some. This guy's not on Instagram. He's not showing this thing off. He's not, taking crazy good pictures. These were done in his bedroom with whatever lighting he found. And these are fully healed. This is about a month after the fact.
These aren't awful. Okay, so that one's a little awful.
They're pretty bad, but
they're not the most awful.
I'm actually happy they're bad.
But they're not the most awful healed photos. So we got one on a white background, and then we got one that's against his own flesh. They're really, really showing off how well the details are holding up in these tattoos.
They'll look like that now forever.
Yeah.
That's the way they'll look.
But white background, guys, do that.
Yeah,
when you're sending in pictures, do that.
Decent way of taking a photo, but this is not a guy who's an Instagram model or something.
No.
He'll probably never post these.
Probably not.
This is just something that I asked him to do this so we could show off how this stuff healed, and it's good for Terry to see too how this all healed. Right,
and stop getting laser, guys, and go get a blackout.
Yeah, I don't think that laser is when enough of this stuff is out in the wild and people are seeing that this is basically just I think a better version of black and gray. It takes more time and basically has to be done full color. I don't think that laser is going to be a thing anymore, and it shouldn't be. Like, I've seen some people that have come through here that have had things lasered more than 10 times, and they have to wait 6 weeks in between every session. And we do it fairly cheap here, but it's fucking expensive most places, and it hurts more than tattoos too.
They just like pain.
I don't know what the deal is with laser, but I don't think it's going to be...
I think we've all been duped into thinking that it works, and it doesn't.
I think there's a lot of lazy tattoo artists, and some that are in denial or just don't want to make the effort, because I've seen crazier things than this.
I think lots are in denial. I definitely, I'll bring some of my fine art knowledge into this. So there's a project that I think every artist does at some point in art school, or when you're formally taught art, they make you basically black out your whole page with graphite. And then you take an eraser, predominantly an eraser, darker graphite, and sometimes you can do the highlights with chalks, and basically you're doing exactly what Terry did with the bottom half of this tattoo. You're bringing out, through erasing black and through adding white over top, you're bringing out like shapes and elements. And it's crazy to me that tattoo artists didn't think to do that
it's
previously.
Going to mix in the skin, and the darker tone's always going to prevail, but that's not actually what happens.
Right. I would think that the lighter tone would settle on top. It would be influenced by the darker tone.
It's always experts that actually have no idea what the fuck they're talking about that say things like that have never even tried it. Because the moment you try it, it's like, oh, you're not tattooing with a fucking magic wand, asshole.
It seems like they're all from a very similar age group, but I'm not trying to target you guys. But it's not the OG guys that are saying it. It's like this mid-range age tattoo artists.
Yeah, the old guys have done stuff like this before.
Yeah, they just didn't think of it on the scope that it's happening now. No. And then there's these mid-range guys that are like, oh, you can't do that.
You can't do it because I've never done it before.
Yeah.
These roses that are not roses, the flowers that are up top and on the middle here, he blacked those out. There was a period where they looked like black blobs. But that's great.
I wouldn't have known that. That's super awesome.
Oh yeah, those were blackout.
Man, see, and now
those were done like little black bombs. They looked like for a while.
Because I know, I like those flowers, and because I know that they're done that way.
Yeah,
I like how they look. I'd go and get to sleep like that.
Yeah, of course. That looks better than the black and gray elements. Objectively, I really think the white on black on black stuff looks cooler and more interesting. And yeah, this is the perfect example of trust the process. Because for a few months, he was walking around with big black patches on his arm that were connected to nothing.
It's also a really good example of, finding a shop that can do what you're looking for, really looking at what the artists are up to. And going in and having an open mind and saying, what can we do with this? Because, believe it or not, a good shop with good artists will know how to fix something. So you can't always be like, oh, I want a snake. It's
also though, this should be information that, Terry is a good tattooer.
Oh, yeah.
He's not some fucking king badass. This means anyone in the world is capable of doing this if they can get their fucking mind around it.
Oh, for sure.
It's not on me because I have special skin, because I've heard that too.
Oh yeah,
your
magical
skin ever or something, and this wouldn't work on most people. No, it would work on most people. You're just too lazy to give it a fucking shot.
Do they think you have sparkly vampire skin, Remy?
It's funny. They'll think it's either I have the best skin ever or my skin is leather because I have so many layers. So it can't be both. Make up your fucking minds. It will work. You just have to be a little less lazy and give something else a shot. Even one pass, these were vibrant and you could see them from across the room.
Oh yeah, I bet.
2 passes we did for the clarity sake of it. I was like, he has to do 2 passes if he commits to 1.
And I'm just gonna go back on what you said a few moments ago, where you said any artist can do this. Not any artist can do this. An artist who can saturate.
Any 7 to 8 out of 10 tattoo artists can do this.
Yeah,
tattoo.
any artist who can actually saturate and get black to stay in the skin.
Yeah.
They can do this. But Jimmy down the street that's doing your trashy, I can't shade, it's falling out tattoos, do not ask him to do a blackout. You're in for pain and trouble, and you're an idiot.
There are people now who have seen what's been done on me, and they're booking from like New York, and even one from Europe the other day wanting to come over here, and I'm like, this is a failing of the industry.
Is Terry doing them?
No. Because because this can't be done in one session.
That's true. That's true. They would have to come and have like a vacation here for like months.
You basically you can do this in your area. You just need to find an artist that isn't got his head up his ass. You don't need to fly to Lethbridge, Alberta to have a guy who's never done this before and just took a swing at it try again. Find someone in your area willing to give this a shot. It will work. Just use black and white together.